That's right. Little Thursday morning blues for you while everybody hops on. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, look, I'm not going to make a habit of it, but I started right on time. I started right on time. I know I throw some of you guys for a loop when I actually start at 7:30. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning. Oh, my gosh, y'all. I'm going to give everybody a minute to hop on because I grabbed my guitar this morning and it just felt like... That's just the kind of morning I'm feeling like, man. Yeah, that's right. I'm playing good old fashioned blues. I'm playing good old fashioned blues on an Indonesian guitar. Yeah, I don't know if that discounts anything or if it makes it better. I just don't know. Maybe, let's see. I'm gonna do one quick share here. One quick share here. Boom. Come on. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Oh my goodness. I know. Hang on. I know the music stopped for just a second. Why won't it? I'm not doing a watch party. I'm not doing that. Here we go. Anyway, so hey, wherever you guys are watching, good morning. Good morning. What's up, Terry Lee Yoho? What's up, Fred? Hello, Charlie. Hello, Miss J. How are you? It is the Yo Bro Show live from the tiny house of rock. And I'm providing my own soundtrack music again today because I guess the people at Nightwish didn't really like me sharing their music yesterday. But that's all right. I'm just trying to send them some new fans. Oh man. Good morning, what's up, Burko? Well, hang on a second. Maybe I need to slow this down, and maybe this is how this needs to go. I got them Thursday morning blues, yeah, on my Indonesian guitar. Not that there's anything wrong with Ibanez, y'all. Playing them Thursday morning blues on my cheap imported Indonesian guitar. I need to take up a collection so I can play the blues on the Gibson guitar someday, so y'all just send your donations in. And I will play the blues for you on a proper American-made guitar. Okay, look, hey, I ain't gonna lie. I got a wall full of guitars and it's hysterical. Somebody was asking me the other day, what's your favorite one? I said, I like all of them because I play all of them, but everything I've got's imported. I have two priceless Gibsons that my grandfather gave me that don't leave the house, that are old Gibsons. But the rest of the time, man, I just get things that play and sound good, so. There you go. There it is right there. A little blues on the digital camo. This is great. My first wife, Miss Krista, and my kids gave me this for Christmas one year, 12 years ago. And it's not a particularly expensive guitar, but I saw this guitar and the digital camo, and I just made mention of it one time in the middle of June. And I want you to know that woman went with my kids and bought it like the next week and stuck it under a bed until Santa Claus could bring it to me. I thought that was really cool. So this has got a special place in my heart, though. I promise you, this is like a $250 guitar, man. And I have played I've played it in front of all kinds of people. Never have you ever known anybody who's played more shows in front of more people on very, very inexpensive instruments. I promise. Happy Thursday morning to you guys. What's up, Tim? What's up? What's up, Keith? There, my boy Michael. See, Michael Curtis knows Ibanez rocks, man. This was the choice back in the day, man. Back in the 80s, everybody wanted a super cool, flashy Ibanez guitar. Okay, enough of that. All right. Hey, we got on who we got on. So we're off to the races. Here, I'm gonna put that down. I'm gonna put that down before I hurt myself or somebody. Hey, so check it out. All right. So first of all, now Burko, you probably know a little bit about this because you and I've probably talked about it before. But I mean, I'm giving out. Hey, I'm giving out a great big fat no prize. No, I'm giving out a great big fat no prize to anybody who can tell me not only what this T-shirt represents, but if they can tell me what all the initials mean. All right, there you go. There's your trivia question for your Thursday morning on the Yo Bro Show. What's up, Eric? What's up, Rick? Jim Clark in the house. Scott Davis. What's up, man? So anybody, let me get rid of this so you can see. So here's I'm rocking my CBGB shirt. So anyway, Eric, $40 in your bass. That's right. Don't pay more for a bass guitar. That's all I'm saying. So, all right, yeah. Anybody who wants to jump in and tell me what this T-shirt is, I'll give you. Like I said, I'll give you a big fat no prize and a shout out on the Yo Bro Show, which is worth. I know it's worth whatever you want it to be worth. Hey, it's Thursday morning. We're almost there. It's almost Friday. It's almost Friday. Can y'all hear that when I'm beating on the table like this? Almost Friday. Man, can't wait. I'm telling you guys, I am fired up. A hot purple Morris Hurricane from 1984. Dude, that's, okay, here we go. All right, I want you to send me pictures of your instruments. If you guys play, I want you to start putting some pictures of your instruments in the comments. I want to see. I want to see your instruments in the comments, okay? I showed you guys, you showed me yours, I showed you mine. Anyway, yeah, I want to see some pictures of these things. I want to know what a hot purple Morris Hurricane looks like. Oh, now Michael Curtis. Come on, man. That's right, dude. The legendary rock club CBGB's, okay, in New York City, right at the corner of Bleecker Street and 3rd Avenue. I can't remember where it is. All I know is it is a hole. This rock and roll club is the nastiest place I ever played in my life. And in 1994, when I was playing with Gypsy Train, we played at CBGB's, the legendary rock club. Couldn't wait to play there. And actually, yes, CBGB stands for Country, Bluegrass, Gospel, and Blues, which is weird because it ended up becoming a legendary underground rock and roll club in the 70s. And I mean, everybody from the New York Dolls to Lou Reed, like all these old, like kind of edgier people would play there. And then it became more of a rock club later on through the 80s and the 90s. And I think I've heard it closed and I heard somebody opened it back up. All I know is I hope somebody finally cleaned that dadgum bathroom. It was so nasty I could smell it from the front door. And it was downstairs in the basement of this building. Anyway, so I got to play at CBGB's. So follow up. Yeah, CBG, that Punk Bar, that's right. Yeah, it's loud. Oh, Living Color has a legendary video they filmed at CBGB's. The stage is tiny and it's loud and it's sweaty. I'll tell you what's funny is, man, we were playing there. We played it, I think, if I am not kidding you, we played it like 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday night in New York City, and the place was packed. We played after two bands that were kind of big, Cop Shoot Cop and Soul Coughing. And then us, this little country rock band from Macon, Georgia. It was hysterical. So follow up. So, the Ramones. That's right, Eric. The Ramones. That's right. I forgot. The Ramones played there. All right. So here's a big follow-up for you. What does the OMFUG stand for? Okay. So country, bluegrass, gospel, blues. Okay. That's what CBGB originally stood for. What's OMFUG stand for? Anybody know? Anybody know? Hey, Yaya D. What's up? Y'all stumbled into a riveting conversation this morning about my T-shirt here and my crazy early rock and roll days playing with the legendary Gypsy Train as we toured around the country. A bunch of guys from Macon, Georgia. I love those guys dearly. My brother, truly my brother from another mother, Rob Samowski, was our percussionist. I mean, someday I may throw a video up on here and show you guys. Well, actually, you could probably find us on YouTube. Gypsy Train, Macon, Georgia. I was in the band from 94 and 95, and there have been some guys that have come and gone since then. Anyway, all I'm saying is we got to play CBGB's, and that's kind of like a big deal. Hey, that's a big deal. As far as you know, that's a real big deal. Anyway. Oh my gosh. Other music for uplifting gormandizers. Wow. Tim, you have no idea how close you are, dude. OMFUG stands for Other Music from Underground. And I know technically underground could be one word, but anyway. I don't know. So anyway. There you go. There's the story about my cool T-shirt. There you go. There's your little tidbit of rock and roll. Because I am nothing if not... Whoosh, An amateur rock and roll historian. I've discovered that over the years, I don't know about it doesn't. Do you guys all have something that like just for some reason there's something that just sticks in your brain that like like whether it's like maybe it's sports statistics, or maybe it's if you're a lady, maybe it's understanding like the 8,000 different stitches you can do when you're knitting, or maybe I mean I was that what that was sexist. That was completely sexist, and I'm gonna own it. But I don't know, just whatever. All of us, our brains are wired certain ways. There's just something you latch onto, and everybody. I used to tell everybody. People, everybody is Rain Man about something. You have a very, very like just natural bent towards some type of, you get something you latch onto. With me, if I know who's in a band, I'll never forget who's in the band. I know the names of just about everybody in all of my favorite bands from the 70s and 80s because I used to read the liner notes and it just stuck. I'm a wealth of useless knowledge about music and musicians and producers and all these things like that, and actors in movies. I mean, I'm telling you, if I've seen somebody one time, I can tell you everything they've ever been in. It's weird. It's weird. I also like to go on long walks by the beach. I don't know what that's from. Anyway, so good morning. And I got to tell you guys, I'm still kind of buzzing because Brother Greg last night at our Wednesday night, if you haven't checked out last night's Wednesday night Global Vision service, it was terrific. Very, very cool. There's a lot going on in that little church right there. I'm not gonna lie. Whether you like the man or whether you can't stand the man, my pastor Greg Locke brings the truth and he brings the heat. Last night was a very, very powerful service. One of my son's best friends got baptized right in the middle of all it, which is just perfect. I mean, it was just. I don't know, it's terrific. God's moving, y'all. And here's the thing: if you're one of these people who gets freaked out when I start talking about God, let me just pump the brakes for a second. Let me tell you something. I am most of the time like you. In fact, I find myself probably more times than not, a lot of people, when they start talking about God, and a lot of people start putting they start putting their Jesus face on, it turns me off. It just does. I'm sorry. And I know I shouldn't be that way, but it still throws me back to all my early days when more people were trying to hit me with the Bible than actually open it and explain to me what God had done in their lives. And so I'm still kind of judgy. I have my judgy pants on today. That's right. Judgy pants. I've got my judgy pants on a lot of times because some people, when they come at you, I'm trying to work on this. But when I talk to you guys, when I talk about like things like when I say God is moving or the Spirit's moving, I'm not just saying that because I heard somebody say it 17,000 times growing up in church. I went to church every time the doors were open when I was a kid, and I really didn't learn a thing about Jesus. I was just there for Wednesday night dinners and Sunday morning to get a pat on the head in Sunday school, and a preacher give me a Rainbow and Skittles sermon and kick me out the door to play for the next week. So when I tell you, I'm not one of these people who was born and raised in. I was born and raised in church, but I wasn't born and raised like understanding God and truly understanding Jesus and understanding all that. So when I tell you all this stuff, like I'm not a preacher, I'm not a theologian. I'm wrong probably about 90% of stuff. I read stuff out of the Bible and I'm sure that I've got it wrong. But the thing is this, I don't like people to come at me with that necessarily, and I call it putting their Jesus face on because their demeanor changes and it's not genuine. I'm sorry. It's just some people don't know how to just be open and real with people, and they put on their church face, their Jesus face, and everything. I'm telling you, the next time somebody walks up to me in a parking lot or on the streets of Nashville and says, "If you died today, would you know where you're going?" I mean, so my first instinct is to resist the urge to actually berate them and tell them that that's just real. Really, has that ever worked, sir, ma'am? Has that ever worked? My favorite one was, do you know where I mean, seriously, on the streets of Gatlinburg, walking around a few years ago, it's been quite a few years ago, said, "If you died today, would you know where you're going?" And I said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. Do you?" He said, "Well, you got a lot of nerve asking me that with all that long hair." And I'm like, "Oh, really? We're going to have that discussion?" Okay, don't tell me you guys haven't run into people like this. I mean, seriously, this guy, he was probably about a college-age kid, and I wasn't much older than him, I promise you, was giving me chapter and verse on how I was going to hell because I had long hair. I mean, this is what we've all been fighting our entire lives. We've been fighting the short-sightedness and the complete I mean, half of these people that are walking around beating people with the Bible don't even know why they believe what they believe. And I swear to you, I got into a theological conversation with a coworker one time, and if he said it once, he said it 3-4 times in this one conversation. "Well, my pastor told me." Wow, your pastor did? That's awesome. That goes right along with, "Well, I was always taught." Really? You were always taught? Well, above your parents teaching you manners and how to treat people and things like that, and how to tie your shoes and how to, cook your own meals and be a responsible adult. Hey, that's great. Those are the things your parents are supposed to teach you. At what point did you actually, I don't know, read the Bible or maybe talk to somebody about God instead of just taking everything that was beat into you and just taking it as rote? Sorry, don't believe that's, just saying. I'm just putting it out there. I was going somewhere with this. Anyway, so one of the things that I guess, so we were talking last night about the Word of God, about the Bible. One of the things that I'm not going to argue. I mean, I'm just not going to argue with people because that just doesn't, it's so rare that you're going to enter into an argument and change anybody's mind. All you can do is go in and be real with them and then agree to disagree and let God work on the rest of it. You know what I mean? That's my opinion, and you're not going to get me off of it. So I do believe that the Bible is the Word of God, and I do believe that it is perfect. I think that God gave us brains in our heads, and He knows that there's more that happened than what's in here, which is why, for example, squirrel, boom, which is why you can watch a show like The Chosen and be inspired, and it's not right out of the things that happen in that show are things that happened in the Bible, but when they're showing you all the ancillary things, like what it was actually like with Jesus and his disciples hanging out at this wedding, they create an atmosphere and things like that. And no, it's not verbatim out of the Bible, but those types of things happen. I mean, there comes a point when you understand that's the Word of God, and it in and of itself is perfect, and it is God breathed, which means that God inspired these men, particularly Paul, to write. So anyway, I'm not going to come off of that. But what I am going to come off of is nobody's really going to listen to anything you have to say if you can't just be real with people and relate to people. So when you hear me say, right back to the beginning. So when you hear me say God is doing something in that little church and the Spirit is moving, that Holy Spirit, there are some things happening that are just undeniable. People are beginning to sort of open their eyes. One of the things that and I'm actually maybe I should go to the Word, because I actually hey, don't worry, I'm not going to let it go to my head, but I actually have the past couple of days I've had a little bit of a plan. This is one of the things I'm talking about. This is one of the things that I'm talking about that's going on in that little church. And I'm going to go to James. And we talked about James yesterday. And I think I'm going to stay in James this week because I feel like this is, like I said, one of my favorite pastors, Mike Glenn, used to always say that the book of James was written across the back of a holy 2x4. He does not pull any punches. He just puts it out there. So I'm going to start here. Consider it joy, and this is James chapter 1, and we've talked about this verse before, but stick with me for a second. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Okay, I'm day 113 of no jobby job. Impending poverty crushing down upon me. And somehow or another, people are like, are you freaked out? Are you freaked out? I'm like, no. Somehow or another. And I'm just one example in a church full of people that are going through similar things. I'm not only not scared, I'm okay. Somehow or another, I haven't missed a bill. My babies are still fed. I'm still fed. The lights are still on. Okay. So that's my faith in God and taking care of me. And you guys can all say, okay, I don't care. I'm just telling you, for me, I just know God has taken care of me. When I've needed money, it has appeared. Anyway, it just is what it is, and you're not going to get me off that. So what happens when you have a great big group of people that get together and a lot of them going through similar trials and tribulations, considering it joy. Are you kidding me? Consider it joy, brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. We got people all around us in that church who are very, very open about the fact that they're overcoming addiction. Some of them just got out of jail. Some of them about to go in jail. Some of them are dealing with divorces. Some of them are dealing with true illness and possible terminal illness. But when I say the Spirit's moving and God's moving in that church, it's because that's a congregation of people with a guy at the head of it all who is preaching out of the Bible and talking about the faith and the peace that passes all understanding. When those people all get together and share life together and worship together, something truly amazing happens. And that's what's happening in that little church building and under that tent on Old Lebanon Dirt Road. So I don't just say this to be all, woo, spooky spiritual. I'm telling you, the Spirit's moving, and it's because people are opening themselves up to telling people what God's doing in their lives and being real. Nobody has on their church face. Nobody walks in and expects you, and when you walk in, you could come in a suit and tie if you want to, and that's great. You're not going to necessarily get looked down your nose at. You'll probably walk in like this. You look more like the rest of us. That's fine. It's like, We don't care how you show up, just show up. And I think that there's a lot of that that's missing, because considering it joy. Hang on a second. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it'll be given to you. God, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. That's right. In other words, God's like, okay, you're asking for wisdom. I'm not going to sit here and go, well, I'm not going to give you wisdom because you got yourself into that mess. That's not how that works. And I've been amazed at the wisdom God has dumped on me during this trial of not having a job and having just gotten divorced and starting to put my life back together. I have been continually amazed. And part of that is because the people around me are constantly encouraging. And guess what? They're going through the same things. So phooey on playing dress up on Sunday mornings and getting your little rainbows and Skittles sermon and everybody just kind of putting on their little fakey fake smiles. And I know that doesn't happen everywhere. I'm being kind of just making some generalities here, but I mean, I've been in church my whole life and I've just seen a lot of that. So phooey on all of that stuff. We're all in this together, y'all. So you got to get real, and you got to be able to get real. And here's the deal. You can get real. Get real with yourself and get real with God, because here's the thing. God is real. God is real. And I feel like in a lot of times I find myself wanting to explain God, and I just keep coming back to this. And y'all, listen, if you're going to, hey, as they say, hey, get your unfriend button ready. I feel like sometimes I feel like, and if you haven't seen the movie The Matrix, I feel like that's the most perfect description of discovering God in the world that we live in. And I know if you've not seen the movie, I'm not going to make you go watch the movie, because it's kind of violent and there's bad words in it and stuff like that. But here's the deal: you want the red pill or the blue pill? And once you take the red pill, you're awakened into what the world is really like. I mean, I think sometimes instead of telling everybody, talking about each other about us being saved, I feel like we should be telling each other we're awake. You've been awakened. You understand what's going on. You've accepted the truth of God and the truth of the truth of the Bible, and now you're awake and you can't unsee the things you've seen. It's like, So anyway, all this is to say is that us woke people, truly awakened people, you've just got to get real with one another and encourage one another and inspire one another to just live better lives. What a terrible world that would be if everybody did that, right? Man, these Christians, man, they're just awful people. God, always giving money to the poor and taking care of the widows and orphans and helping people out when they're down in their luck and always having an encouraging word. Oh, you mean acting like Jesus instead of whatever? Anyway. Okay. Sermon over. Thanks for joining us. Oh, hey, Milo, sorry.
It's a beautiful day.
Bam, there you go. Okay, I'm getting down out of the pulpit, y'all. Oh, look at you chatty people. Look at you chatty people. I'm sorry that hey, listen, I'm sorry. I have not been ignoring you, but I had a little something to say this morning. So there we go. Let's see. Good morning, Jim Howe. What's up? Oh my gosh, look at you guys. Oh, yes, Jesus did have long hair. And that's funny, Eric, because I told people that so many times when I had long hair. I was like, yeah, Jesus had long hair. And don't tell me they didn't have barbers, because not everybody had long hair in those days. So what's up, Charlie? Yeah, church people are nuts. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. Tim Boyd, there was a barber on every corner in Nazareth, wasn't it? Yes. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning. Oh, my gosh. You guys. Okay, I've missed a lot. Oh, goodness. Hey, Shelly. Good morning. All right. Okay, so there we go. My rant is over. And my rant is over. Thank you for enduring it with me. Thank you for enduring that with me today. I guess for all of us, I guess what I'm saying is that I want to tell people about God. I think that's really what God put me to do, is to kind of encourage people, entertain people, make people smile. But I think I'm here to help to tell people about God. I think that's truly what God has put me in here to do, because I'm not going to be a gifted preacher or teacher necessarily, but I can tell you what God's done in my life. And one of you guys, and I don't remember who it was, and it's been a while back, had asked me to share my testimony, like on here some morning. And here's the thing, I am totally glad to. But even just last night, I was talking to one of my son Brady's friends, and that kid's 15 years old, and his testimony is one of the most powerful I've ever heard. I'm careful about sharing my testimony, because I don't know that anything, I haven't been to jail, and I haven't been. I've lived a pretty normal, I mean, I've had people die, and we lost a baby when I was, I lost a baby when I was a young father and some things like that. But there's never been this big catalyst. I'm sometimes careful to share my story because I was like, there's nothing, I don't have that big kaboom sort of moment. I mean, I guess maybe I have had that big kaboom moment when I first realized God was real, but I don't know that I have, I don't know. Maybe, and I don't know, maybe that's mock humility. I don't know. Maybe that's the devil trying to keep me from sharing my story, but I don't know that I have anything super exciting and interesting to tell. But maybe that's the thing. I'm a normal guy who's led a normal life, and God's done some great things in my life. I don't know. So that's one of the things I kind of struggle with, but I know that's what I'm here for. And I think that's why I get off my knees over there every morning, and he sends me right over here to do this, and you lovely people hop on. So as long as that keeps happening, I guess that's what I should be doing. So, I mean, I guess at some point in time, I think sometimes if maybe sometime I'll tell you guys some of the story. I told it one time. Chris asked me to preach at Soul Revival last year, and I told a lot of my story. But anyway, there's a lot to it. It might have to be a mini series. I packed a lot of living into these 51 years, and it hasn't all been grand and glorious. But if you don't believe that God's got a plan for your life, if you don't believe that God can use anybody, if you don't believe that God is real, I mean, I'm telling you, and again, now I'm talking to you, but I'm really kind of talking to people who don't necessarily believe in God. Hey, that's okay. I got a blue pill for you. You can take it. You can wake up and be back in your fantasy dreamland. But if you want to take the red pill, talk to me. Let's get awakened to what's going on in the world, and let me explain to you the amazingness of the God who created you and the God who created the universe, because I do believe He created everything. And I'm gonna pull the pin on a little grenade. Actually, no, I'm gonna light the fuse. I'm gonna light the fuse on a little theology bomb, a little faith bomb, and I'm gonna let it burn, and then we'll just see when it goes off. Okay, this fuse might have it might be a really long fuse. I believe there's just absolutely room in this world for both science and faith in God. It's burning. Okay. All right, so a couple things we got to get around to. Here we go. And some of you guys have got some absolutely amazing stories. Like, listen, touch up some of these people over here in the comments, okay? Some of you guys, some of you guys know each other, some of you guys don't, but there are some amazing stories and some amazing people in our comments. There are some folks that have been part of our Yo Bro show from the beginning, and even new people have come on, and everybody's got amazing. And I guess that's the thing. We all have stories that are amazing in their own rights, and we need to share those things with people. That's how you explain God to people. You can't just send somebody to the Bible and say, go read this. You tell them about the Bible and what the Bible's done for you and how God has done things in your life, and then you go back and say, and this is your guide right there. Okay, that's what you do. Share your stories with one another. That's really what people relate to. I keep saying it. Nobody's going to find God necessarily on their own. They might, but it takes somebody. And sometimes it's a preacher standing in a pulpit who convicts you, and you hit your knees and you sign a card, and that's great, but you're not really going to grow till another believer, somebody else who is awakened, wakes you up and says, let me walk with you. That's really how it works. It's meant to be interpersonal. That's what the Holy Spirit has been doing from the beginning. I just realized I have been on a rant, and I am about to run long. So for those of you guys who are still with me, two things we got to do. First things first. This is the day that the Lord has made. If you forget everything else we've talked about, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, and you should too. If you took a breath this morning, today's another chance. The other thing we got to do is we got to pray, because y'all got to get to work. All right. Some of y'all who have jobs, God bless you. Some of us have had to go keep looking for a job. By the way, something is probably going to shake out in the next day or so for me. So thank you for your prayers. All right, here we go. God, I thank you so much for this time this morning. God, I humbly thank you for this opportunity to share some of your word and to share life with this group of people. And God, I know that we are all put here to help one another out. You've put a spirit in us of faith, not of fear. And sometimes for those who are fearful, what they need is somebody whose faith is stronger than theirs to walk alongside of them and just come alongside of them and walk them out of the fear and into faith. So God, I ask you to embolden all of us to do that. Reach out to somebody, or if you're somebody who's in a place of fear, reach out to somebody that you know has got faith, and help us all help one another out. in walking through this scary world. God, I thank you so much for I thank you so much for your word and the fact that we can read things right now and they still make sense. That yes, the book was written thousands of years ago, but human nature has not changed. You designed us, and you knew that the things that went on then are things that are going on now. So God, I thank you for your word. I thank you that we can come straight to you in prayer, that we can hit our knees at any point in time and talk to you all day. God, I thank that you hear our prayers, that you covet our prayers. And God, I thank you for answered prayers. And God, I thank you for answered prayers even when the answer is no. So God, thank you for the providence you've given me in my time of need and other folks who are around here and who might be on here or suffering with similar things. I thank you for taking care of all of us. And God, no matter what our position in life is, help us all just find a peace and the contentment of just knowing that we are your children and that this is not our final destination. God, we thank you for this day, and I selfishly and humbly somehow at the same time, I give you this day. I give you this day to do with it as you would have me do, and I hope that we all can do the same thing. Keep this group safe. Give us all some of that peace that passes all understanding. Lord knows we all need it. In Jesus' name, amen. Boom. There you go. All right, so, oh, and by the way, yes, somebody asked about the 25. The 25? All right, so you ready? I'm not going to do the 25 now. I'll do a video in a few minutes. I got to have another cup of coffee. I got to have another cup of coffee before I do my 25. But I did them yesterday, and I called up my buddy Jamie, so I'm sure that I'll be doing my 25 here in a minute. All right, so... And actually, I got to tell you guys something. I'll do my 25. I got a couple of random emails from people that don't even comment on the show. I got a couple of people who had stopped by. 2 different people have sent me emails this week just saying, hey, just caught the show for the first time and just wanted to give you a little encouragement, which I thought was awesome. So that's terrific. So you guys, if you want to, you can absolutely hit me up at Gmail. Please go and find our Tiny House of Rock page, our channel on YouTube. I think I've got 8 or 9 folks that are following it now. I'm going to begin streaming. My conference call is today at 9:30. I'm going to get all that technology kind of stuff worked out. But do follow us and do subscribe because there's more coming than just the Yo Bro Show. I've got some things brewing, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you, but you know, Keith said, "Are we still on yet?" Okay, dude, you keep mixing. It's are we still on or are we on yet? Anyway, dude, but you know what? Keith got it today. There you go. Let's see. I'm feeling more like. Do we need a little Van Halen this one? Okay, I think that's all I got. Somewhere Eddie Van Halen just got a twitch. He goes, "Oh my gosh, somebody's butchering my song." Everybody go have a good day. Peace. We love you.